What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DnW Talk podcast. This is episode 2. We missed last week. Things got a little busy. It's whatever. We're back again this week. My dog William's here too. You know what I'm saying?
Hello. Welcome back.
And to start this episode off, last week at the end of the podcast, we introduced the workout playlist for our podcast and how someone can comment, and then whatever comment gets the most likes or whatever gets a song added to the playlist. And last week's comment was from Jake, my brother. He chose Headstrong by who's that by?
By Trapped.
Decisions to hide. Back off, I'll take you on.
That
I'd say that's
that is a top tier. I have that in my playlist right now currently, and when that song comes on in the gym, I'm always going hard to it. Every single fucking time.
Yep, that's a good ad.
So
Thank you, Jake, for adding that one.
Yes, that's a banger. I would have probably added that if you didn't, if I'm being honest. That was like a must. But our 2 songs each will be at the end of the podcast, so stay tuned if you do want to see the next 4 songs added to the playlist. You know what I'm saying? But to jump into it, yesterday I did a 10-mile run, and halfway through I was like, dude, I am not finishing this 10-mile run, bro. I was so tired and my legs hurt, but I found what got me through it was not like, you know how you can change the speed setting on the treadmill? I was so set to like sticking to one speed the whole time. But what I did yesterday was I put it up to like, I think I was at like 7.5 when I was like running. And then I'd sometimes go to 8. And then I dropped down to like 4 for like, to whenever my heart rate got back down to like 120 or 130. But toward like, I mean, it's still is very tough to get through the 10-mile run. But like, I forgot what I was about to say. I forgot where I was going with that, if I'm being honest. No, like, damn.
Well,
yeah, whatever. Well,
how did it go?
I don't remember.
I mean, you ended up doing it, so.
I ended up doing it. I was literally soaking wet in sweat. Like, I didn't notice, but after I was done, I took my over shirt on. I had my tank top under, and like I took my shirt off pretty early. And at the end of it, my tank top was soaking wet. But like when I walked to the locker room, I didn't have my shirt on. I had the tank top, and I look in the mirror, and my tank top is completely see-through. I was like, "Fuck!" You can straight up see my nipples through. I was like, dude, fuck. But
and how long did it take you to run 10 miles?
Dude, I was hoping it'd be a little quicker, because so when I first did 10 miles was like 2 weeks ago, and that took me it took me 2 hours, but the time was 1 hour and 59 minutes to be exact. And this week's was 1 hour and 54 minutes. Every time I hit I'll hit like, I don't know, when I would run not on the treadmill, like when I'd actually run outside in Canyon Lake, I felt like a mile would go so much quicker. I don't know why. It feels like it's harder to do a mile on a treadmill than it is outside for some reason. Like, I feel like I get there quicker outside, and I don't understand why.
I would agree. Like, even when I used to do like some mountain biking stuff outside compared to a stationary cycle, when you're outside, you're seeing different things. You can kind of see a destination that you're going to that gets closer and closer.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of aspects to the ride or the cycle that are present during an outdoor cycle or run compared to when you're sitting indoors on a stationary machine. It's sort of a thing of just like boredom. Like if you're on like a treadmill or if you're on a stationary bike, like you're sitting there just pretty bored. I mean, I usually just like throw on something on the YouTube or listen to a podcast or something. But even at that point, you're just like, man, I've been doing the same shit for like an hour and it gets really boring. Dude. Whereas outside, like you said, like it goes by much quicker and there's a lot more that's right in front of you that you can kind of like tackle or look forward to than just sitting on a stationary bike. So I get what you're saying there.
That does make so much sense. Cause like, it's so weird. I'll run and like, normally like the last mile, I'll like push pretty hard and go fast. And then like when I get off the treadmill, I'm barely walking, but I feel like I'm walking so fast because I'm used to like nothing moving to the sides of me. But when I'm walking, it's like things are flying by me like I'm in a car after I get off. But that definitely, I haven't watched like YouTube while running on it or a podcast yet, but I should. There's always like this little TV that's on the treadmill, like right in front of me, but I always turn it off because it's some whack shit every single time. I'm like, dude, what am I watching?
Do you listen to music?
Yeah, I listen to different music than when I lift. It's kind of weird. Like I'll listen to normally like my rap stuff while I'm on the treadmill, but if I'm lifting weights, it's like fucking some random like noises going on. But like I was getting to the point earlier where I was gonna say I feel like cardio is such a thing where people look at it like, oh, cardio, fuck, like I don't want to do cardio. But like even I was like that because I like a month ago I was running a lot and then I kind of stopped when I started going to the gym because I was focusing on lifting. But then I'm getting back into it like the last 2 weeks, and I like after like a couple days of just like, or a couple times of going and like having it suck through it, like it starts to actually get like pretty enjoyable. Actually, like you start enjoying like what speed you hit and how long you can hit that speed. Or like I was so hyped with my 5 miles when I got back to running because I couldn't think I'd do that again. And then I was like, dude, fuck it, I'm gonna go up to 10 because I have never done like a 10-mile run. I mean, I've done a 10-mile run, but it was like there was like a last mile, like super slow walk. Like I was kind of like not running or pushing myself throughout the whole run. And I had joint pain, a lot of joint pain on my first 10-mile run when it was outside. Could be due to like the incline from the hills or like other things too. But like on the treadmill, like especially recently, I haven't gotten any leg pain. So I've just been able to just like sit there and enjoy the run. And literally for 2 hours, I'll just be sitting there running, bro. And it's like, it's crazy. It sucks when I run out of water, but after that, like, I mean, before that, it's like, I really fuck with it. I think a lot of people should start doing some more cardio because it sucks at first, but once you start like enjoying it, it's not such like a job type of thing. It kind of hits.
And do you think that cardio is more like of a mental challenge than say lifting is?
Yeah, for sure. Because when I'm running, so let's say I turn my speed up to 7 or to 8 or to 8.5 because I hit that sometimes and like I don't hold it for that long. But I know if there's 0.2 miles left in the mile, and I'll put it up to 8.5 and be like, I'm not gonna stop this 8.5 until it hits the next mile. And after like 0.1 miles of 8.5, I'm like dying, and I'm like, a week ago I would turn it down right now, but then I'm like, no, I just make like a 1 second decision. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get to where I said I'm gonna go, and that's what I'm gonna do. And after I just jump over that one hurdle in mind of the first instinct to be like, I'm gonna turn this off, like that first instinct will get you like 9 times out of 10. But if you just get over it one time, you'll get there, and it'll be way easier than you expect. Because like after you just stop thinking about that and you set your mind on the next 0.1 mile, it's like, all right, I'm locked in. I'm not worrying about this. It's not so bad as it was when I was debating if I'm going to keep it at this pace. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think whenever I've done whenever you do long periods of cardio, whether it be running or cycling or rowing or whatever it is, you're kind of in a mental battle with yourself because your body can usually tolerate it for much longer than your mind will think, or the mind will want you to believe, right? So I remember back when I was training for motocross, I used to be with my old trainer Kyle, and we used to go in the garage, and it was a hot box. It was like 110 degrees in there, and I would hop on the ski machine and do that for 30 minutes. And you kind of, he had me at a rate, going at a speed and like a heart rate to where it's just where it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To where it's like you're suffering the whole time, but you're not doing it to the point where you can't do it. It's just that uncomfortable position where your mental is saying, dude, this is fucking horrible. Like, this sucks. Like, I feel like I'm fucking failing, and like you start cramping up and your throat starts hurting because you're breathing so heavy, and like you dehydrate, you're sweating fucking bullets. And that, to me, like that, getting through that, and once you do it and once you're done and you understand that I was able to do that, even though my mind at first, or even through the whole thing at first, is telling me stop. Because your mind, I think I've heard a lot about this in other podcasts and research and whatnot. Like, the body can do much more than the mind will tell you can. And the first thing to shut down is your mind, not your body. So it's, in a sense, like a lot of times, whether it be cardio or lifting, or in general, just like output to where you're uncomfortable, the mind is going to shut down because it's that fight or flight response, and it's saying, hey, I don't like where we're going. This is uncomfortable. You're making me suffer. Stop doing this. And that's the point where you just have to keep fucking doing it to be able to kind of train your mind. And I think David Goggins talks a lot about this topic, and building those calluses on your mind to overcome like the fucking pain and the suffer that you're going through, so that you can continue to push through those things. So I always find that whenever you're in those uncomfortable positions and you force yourself to keep going, and by the time it's done, it's like the best feeling ever. It's like as shitty as as tired as you are. See, this is something I actually wanted to talk about. So this is kind of coming into where I wanted to go. But the idea is that if let's say you take a rest day, right? Let's say you don't do anything at all, and you're not tired because of it, right? Like, you're not tired. You don't feel exerted. You didn't put yourself through any physical damage or mental suffering or anything like that. At that point, you're well rested and whatnot, but it's almost like you feel less happy or less fulfilled, right? Whereas if you go through something that on the other side of things makes you feel like shit during the process and after the fact, like when you're completely like wasted, you're super tired, you just exerted yourself. Like, for example, in your case, you ran a 10-mile run on the treadmill. It sucked. But at the end of it, even though you're completely wasted, you're dehydrated, you need to eat, you feel good. The endorphins are high. You have a dopamine kind of high. Like, it feels good. So do you find yourselves in times like, once you go through those shitty things, even though if you look at it from like a energy standpoint, you have less of it, but you feel better, to where on the other side, if you do nothing and you're well rested, but you may feel shittier?
There's a good podcast. Joe Rogan's talked about this before on a podcast. He's saying he kind of referenced it like, so while you're sleeping, let's picture you as like a battery, and like while you're sleeping, you're charging your battery. You wake up it's at 100%. And then like throughout the day, if you don't like waste your energy that you have built over the night, like through a run or through lifting or this or that, whatever you do, like you have more energy just in you, and like it kind of starts like, you ever seen a battery like with like crusty acid on it, like leaking out of it? It's like your energy's just leaking out of the battery into stuff. Like you'll make a bigger deal out of certain things because you have so much energy. You can put more energy into little things that don't even matter. Or like when you'll like, for instance, if you don't like something about yourself, you wake up, you see it in the mirror, it's going to be way of a bigger deal because you have so much energy you're just putting towards into there. It's like you have a battery and you need to drain the energy from the battery like every day, practically. You're doing something. And that's why like rest days are so hard for me, or like I hate rest days, because it's like when I do not run or lift or this or that, I'm like inside. Or if I don't have work either, let's say it's like a complete off day and I have nothing to do, I'm just like in here like scrolling on TikTok, like like it sucks. And like it seems like it would be better like in the moment, like while you're at work, you're like, fuck, I don't want to be working. Or but when you're waking up for work, I don't want to be working. I don't want to go run 10 miles. Like that fucking sounds terrible. I don't want to do that. But every single time you're gonna feel so good after it. Like after the run yesterday, like I'm like walking like a zombie to the locker room, dripping sweat, chugging my water that I just refilled like a zombie, bro. Just looking dead, but like I have a smile on my face because I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I just did that shit. Like, because you feel so much more better. It's like you gain confidence throughout that little like battle that you just won in your head. Because like throughout the whole run, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking stopping at this next mile for sure. Like I'm done. And then like literally right when I got there, I was like in the parking lot, I was like, I'm going to do 10 miles. And then I got on the treadmill, like on the first mile, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just do 5 today. Like whatever. I had reasons in my head. I was like, oh, I only brought 1 water bottle, so I'm going to run out of water like halfway through. I'm in my other run, like, cause I have 2 pairs of running shoes, and like one I actually run in and one I just wear to the gym. I was like, I'm not in my running shoes. I'm just in my gym shoes. Like they're still running shoes, but they're just like my gym ones. But it's just like I had so many excuses I could have went to get out of that 10-mile run. But when you jump over those little hurdles, like I keep saying, it's like such a feeling of a victory, and you just feel so much better about yourself after. And to the point, back to the point earlier of what you were saying, when it's like you set like your mind goes out first, like you should put your mind out first. David Goggins has a great quote saying people put like, you know, governors like on a car where like you can't go past 90 miles per hour because it just keeps going back. People put a lot of a governor on their mind of certain things they do, so when they feel any bit of uncomfortability, it's like, oh, I got like my side hurts. I gotta slow down. I gotta walk right now because my side hurts, or like this or that, or I'm out of breath. My lungs feel like they're hurting. Like just anything. Like you can push through that, and you can breathe more if your lungs are hurting while you're running. You don't need to. I mean, you could slow down a little bit. Like my girlfriend's friend was asking for tips for running, and I was thinking about it for a while, and I sent this list, and I'm not like a professional like advice giver on running, but I just run a lot. So one of the things I told her was do this Andrew Huberman breathing technique when you're feeling like anxious, or when you're feeling like you're about to be done, or when your lungs are hurting, or if you have a side ache. It helps with side aches too. You guys can Google the Andrew Huberman breathing technique. It's a YouTube short. It's literally like a 10-second video, but it helps so much to just do these little things that can push you so much further than just stopping right when you feel any bit of uncomfortability. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And what does he say?
He says like it's just like a breathing technique. So let's say you're running, your side's hurting, or you're running, your heart's beating fast, and you're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, or just some like you're anxious, you got anxiety or some shit. You take a big breath through your nose, and then you sneak one more in there, like, so you go, here, I'll do it again. You go, you know what I'm saying? Like you sneak a little bit of breath in there again at the end, and it you do it through you could do it through your mouth, but doing it through your nose is more effective, and it helps you so much because it gives you something to focus on other than the pain that's happening or what's freaking you out. It gives you something to put your mind on. It gives you something to do with your body because you're sitting there focusing on your breathing. It just helps so much to like I stop side pains within like 30 seconds of running from doing that. Literally every single time it works. I don't know why, but I get like a shoulder pain like right here when I run sometimes. It don't stop that for some reason. This is a weird pain I get like on my traps. It's weird. I think it's because like I'm holding my arms up going like this a lot. Probably, I don't know, but that pain sucks. You just got to push through that. But
yeah, we're gonna need him to drop a new technique on how to fix that one.
Yeah. Part 2.
Yeah. Well, like what you were saying there, and when you went to go run 10 miles, and you said once you got on the treadmill and these excuses kind of started rolling into your mind, and hey, let me make a list of reasons on why I can't do this right now. Right. That reminds me of something that I heard someone talk about before, and it's kind of the topic of doing something that you're scared to do versus doing something that's dangerous to do. Right. So the whole concept behind this is that the difference between doing something that you're scared to do versus something that is dangerous for you to do is that something that's scary doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
Right. So doing something scary is something that's in the moment, you're going to feel some fear, and there's going to be reasons why maybe I shouldn't do this because of this or that. Or, I mean, shit, even think of when you're watching a scary movie and like, oh, the pop out, there's going to be a jump scare. Yeah, there's going to be a jump scare. Like in the moment, it's scary. But shortly after whatever was scary is done, whenever you go through what's scary, it's no longer scary. It's just like that, right? It happens very fast, and then it's no longer scary. And there's examples like, let's say you wanted to jump off of a cliff into the ocean. In the moment, it's very scary. So you're thinking of the what ifs, you know, what if I land weird? What if I don't make it into the water? What if it hurts? What if this? You're thinking of all these things, and your brain starts telling you all these reasons why it will go wrong. And instantly you think of that, right? So when that happens, you're just sitting there thinking, I don't think I should do this. You know, I'm scared. I feel fear. I don't want to do this. Just how you were saying, you know, hey, I got all these reasons why it's not going to work. Yeah. So I'm not going to do it because I'm scared. Because you may not want to admit that you're scared. But in reality, you're fearing the result of failing or something else happening that you don't want to happen. Yeah. So, but shortly after, like you said, like once you get through it, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like it becomes pretty simple and easy after you do it. Yeah. Right. So that's doing something scary. That's doing something that scares you. And on the other side, doing something that's dangerous is something that is kind of the opposite, to where you kind of take the route of not doing the scary thing, right? So you take the route of, hey, this is maybe scary. I'm not going to do this. And the result of that is doing something dangerous, something that puts the long-term period of things in danger, because by not doing those things that scare you, you put yourself in a very dangerous position. Because let's take, for example, how you were saying you ran on the treadmill. And let's say you got on that treadmill, you wrote a list of reasons why you can't do 10 miles, and you said, you know what, I'm not doing 10 miles. I do 1 mile, I'll get off, I'm done. Okay, let's say you do that the rest of your life, right? At some point in your life, if you start to have bigger goals or start to realize what your goals are, or maybe were, you're going to be in a dangerous position by the fact that you didn't take those steps to conquer the scary things that were in front of you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to sit there and feel the regret. Right? You're going to feel the regret. The regret of not doing the things that scared you. The regret of not doing this or that in the time was difficult to do, or that may have been a pain in the ass to do. At that point, you're in danger because now you can't go back and do those things again. You can't conquer the scary things that were once scary. And now you're in a dangerous position because you're thinking, I fucked up. I wish I would have done this. There's so many things that I wanted to do that I didn't. Yeah. And that is dangerous because that will fuck with your mind. Right? I mean, we're both young and we both have not gone through not nearly enough that we're going to end up going through. But still to this day, I wonder, is there anything that you have done that you think would be an example of something scary in that case? I mean, I know you could kind of use that example of doing the run. And it's not so much, for those of you listening, it's not so much as scary, the things that are scary being so much fear that it's actually frightening. It's more so scary in the fact that some aspect of whatever it is difficult, is going to put you in an uncomfortable position, makes you maybe feel frightened. It could be a number of things, but it's not just fear as in a scary movie fear. It's more so scary as in, this isn't something that I know I can do. This isn't something that is easy to do, that's comfortable. It's just something that puts you in an uncomfortable position. Yeah. That's something scary. So I'm wondering, I'm curious, is there anything that you can recall that you've gone through that maybe you've passed up on doing the scary things and eventually you kind of realized, hey, I really wish I would have done that. I really wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done this differently. And could you tell that that was a dangerous position to be in because you feel that kind of regret?
Yeah, there's like, that can be taken in a couple ways too, because there could be little things that maybe you may not have such a big regret for, or there could be things that you do have a bigger regret for. Like one of the littler things I could do, like I recently went to the river with my girlfriend and there's a swing into the river. And I was like, dude, I'm not fucking doing it. Like, dude, look at the current of the river. Like, dude, I ain't doing it. I'm going to get washed away. But then like, I mean, I'm not even tripping on it. Like, I don't really care. But there was a couple times where I was like, damn, I should have. Like, it looked fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some small things like that could be put in that context. And then there's also the bigger things where it's like, while I used to smoke a lot of weed, and when I stopped, like stopping smoking weed, like just cutting it out was so scary to me for some reason. Like because I smoked a lot for probably like 5 years straight. And then once I made the decision to stop, it was like I regret not stopping earlier. I was scared to stop earlier, and then I ended up regretting the fact that I haven't stopped yet. And I was kind of just like in this loop of like being scared, like regretting how you said it was dangerous to keep going in that path. Cause even like at that point I was already regretting it, and I haven't even like made the decision to stop yet. I was just in a loop of regret and then do it and then regret and then do it. But then when I finally stopped, it was like a huge hurdle that I just like jumped over, and it made me feel so much better. So I could say probably that was probably best like example I can think of right now for that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, that it's not always things that even cause regret, but maybe things that, let's say you don't do anything that's scary or uncomfortable. It could just be dangerous by the fact that you're not doing anything to better yourself. You're not doing anything to strengthen your mind, to better yourself physically, mentally, whatever it be. You may just be putting yourself in danger because you're just weakening yourself. You're putting yourself in a bad position. And if you have goals and you have these things that you want to achieve, you're putting those in danger because you're not putting yourself in a good position to go ahead and conquer those.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. Like I was like, when I was doing that, it was like the decisions were not getting me anywhere near a better position to get my goals at all in that situation. So it's so true. And it's like, when you said like, you're not putting yourself, it could just be a decision to not, like, the decisions to not be putting yourself in the situation to better yourself or put you in a better position to achieve your goals that you have. And sometimes like when you're like it was like your kind of goals are blurry. Like I didn't really, I mean, if someone asked me, I was like, do you have goals? I'd be like, yeah, like obviously I got goals. But then like if I really sat there and thought like, what are my goals? Like you kind of have like an idea of goals in your head, but I feel like it's good to like make it a clear, concise goal and know exactly what goals you want. Because if you do live in like that kind of, I have goals, I'm slowly working towards them, but you don't really ever think about your specific goals, I think that's really dangerous to live in. It causes regret for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It honestly comes back in that case to just not being honest with yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Not being on top of things, not being sharp, not understanding, where am I at? What do I want? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What do I want to do in the future? What am I doing to achieve those things? Those are all very important things if you want to get somewhere. You have to write out a plan, or have a GPS, have a direction to follow to go to that destination that you're wanting to be at. Because it's like, we were just watching that podcast the other day and we saw Luke Belmar talking about this. Like, if you don't have these goals and these things you're doing to achieve those goals, and a number of things that could kind of help you get there, then it's almost like a ship without a destination, and you can get stuck out at sea, not really know where to go, and then you're just in no man's land and wondering, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Where am I? Like, what am I doing with my life? And that's a dangerous position to be in, because without reason and without goals and without doing things, to the best of your ability and kind of like taking on life for what it's worth, there's nothing there. You kind of just wither away, and you don't really have an impact on, not only yourself, but anyone around you. And that can be a dangerous position to be in.
I kind of want to touch on like, when you said like withering away and like just not really having a direction, like I feel like there's a bunch of people who wonder like why they're in certain positions, but they're a lot more complacent than they would expect to be. And that's how I was when, let's say, when I was smoking weed all day. Like weed, I don't feel like a lot of people say this, but like weed is like, it will make you happy. It's like a happy drug. And like, it will make you happy in a situation you shouldn't be happy in. I mean, you should always be kind of happy. Like, you should always be happy in a way because you're alive. It's crazy that you're even alive. But sometimes I feel like people get too complacent without even noticing on things like weed, because it's like it like takes you out of the situation you're in and just puts you on like la la land or whatever. I mean, it's not even like a crazy, like you're not like tripping out, but like it just makes you happy. And like for so long I was smoking, and then I just was like not getting better. I was not bettering myself. I was doing nothing to financially set me up for the future. I wasn't doing anything for my health. I was like making my health go down, but I didn't even really like know. It's not that I didn't notice. I just like didn't really care. Like kind of makes you just like careless. And I feel like there's a lot of people who might just be like in this loop of smoking and then thinking they're happy, and then when they're really not. Because I was there, and it's hard to realize. And once you get out of that like mindset and you get a clear head again, it's a lot different. And then you start to realize things. And I'm glad I got out of there, and I'm glad, and I hope that could like maybe wake someone up, because it's like, it's not a bad drug. I'm not saying weed's the worst thing in the world. I'm not saying no one should ever smoke weed. I'm saying sometimes some people do it a lot, end up in a position like me where I was, and you're just like, just gotta wake up, realize, and then get back to reality. I don't know why I was like, felt like I needed to say that.
No, that's good. I mean, what you said makes me think about the fact that happiness is not something that anyone should really chase. You know, it's like
Yes.
if you're using, let's say, a gateway drug like that to be happy, then that's where the issues come along. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of people that can do a number of things and be responsible and do it for the right reasons.
For sure.
But to try to supplement a feeling or supplement being happy, especially, is just, it's an endless loop of, it's not going to work. Because I heard someone talk about it before, and they were talking about the man who has the dream of being happy, and who always chases trying to be happy and always wants to feel happy, will never be happy, because happiness comes and go, right? It's an emotion. Yeah. It comes and go. It can never be sustained, because that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Everyone has feelings. Everyone's going to feel happy and sad and tired and good and bad, or whatever it may be. That's a part of life. And so it's not that you chase a feeling or an emotion because it's not something that's sustainable. You can't always feel that. Rather, you must chase goals that are achievable, that are actually something that you can attain. If you want to take, for example, like an aspect like happiness, like you can chase freedom, because freedom can be defined by yourself or defined in a number of tangible things. Whereas happiness, just thinking like logically, it cannot be sustained. Yeah. Happiness is something we all want to feel because it makes us feel good, but it's not something that you can chase, because that's not how happiness is provided.
Yeah.
Right? And that makes me kind of think of like Newton's third law, for example. Like Newton states that kind of for every force in action, for every action you take, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Right? So
yeah,
for every time that you, let's say, use the gateway drug to supplement happiness, there was a exact opposite reaction to something else. Maybe it was the quality of your life. Maybe, hey, I took this action to do this. It made me feel happy. But in reality, there was an opposite reaction that caused a negative unhappiness on me as well. Because once that's gone, I now feel the opposite. I now feel unhappy because it's not there. I'm missing something, right? And that goes for anything. Like, for every time that we're doing something good, there's something bad, or every time we do something that's hard, it makes something easier. Like every time you run on the treadmill and it sucks, you get a good feeling after. Like, there's always a give and take, right? It's kind of like the law of attraction. Like, you're just always constantly, there's always a frequency, right? There's highs and low frequencies. Like, it's a real
for
thing.
sure.
And in order to kind of feel happiness, you just do things that are good. You can't always feel happy. So that made me remember kind of like chasing happiness is almost the straight, like, if you're chasing happiness, you're on track to feel unhappy.
Yeah, you're like kind of going away from what you want without even realizing it. Like, one of the things I heard someone say was, strive to be proud of yourself day to day, and happiness will come with that. And being proud of yourself by setting little goals. Pick up your room, start there, go to the gym, run 10 miles if that's what you're in your head, because there's a voice in my head, and on the way to the gym I was like, I can run 10. It was like my first time running 10 miles at the gym, and I was like, I can run 10. And then I was like, dude, I haven't ran more than 5 miles in like 2 months. Like, I'm not gonna run 10. And then, like, but there's a voice in my head that knew I can run 10, and I listened to that, and I knew I would be proud of myself if I hit that. And when I hit that, I was happy because I was proud. So striving to be proud is something you can also do if you're trying to be happy. You won't be happy in the moment of doing what's going to make you proud, because normally what's going to make you proud is doing stuff that sucks. Like, let's say you're like, you write blogs for a living, and like you're going to be proud if you make a certain amount of money, but you got to write a certain amount of blogs, and you're just sitting there writing. Maybe you don't like the process of writing. Then you write a bunch of blogs and you get the money you wanted, and you're like, I'm proud that I did that. I mean, money's not going to make you happy. That's kind of not the point. It's kind of like the setting goal and the achieving the goal that you questioned after you set the goal. Because I always set something, and then like the day after I set the goal, I'll be like, dude, or like on the way to the gym, I'll be like, dude, am I gonna run fucking 10 miles, bro? Like, I'm tweaking. But then when you're on there and you flip that switch in your mind, you're like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm crazy enough to try to hit 10 miles. Striving to be proud hits. That's like what I'm trying to do the most right now, is just to be proud of myself day in and day out, because that is one of the best feelings ever, when you're going to bed at night and you can look up at your ceiling and just be like, I did what I needed to do today. I'm gonna wake up, do it again tomorrow. That shit hits.
Yeah. It's a sense of fulfillment. It's a sense of, I did everything that I didn't want to do, and I'm going to do it again. Like, sometimes, like, Conor McGregor was talking about this one time, and he was talking about, do you do the shit that you don't want to do? Because in order to take pride in what you do, you need to know that you can get through the tough times. Right? So you wake up, you don't want to make your bed, you make your bed. You don't want to go train, you go train. You don't want to, go to sleep on time, you go to sleep on time. You keep doing the shit you don't want to do, and you keep allowing yourself to have these little wins every day that make you feel fulfilled, right? Do something that, you love to do. And if you have these goals, and I have to remind myself of this a lot, it's not like we're just engraved in this and like, this is just what we live by. But no matter what, if you have these goals, then you have this shit along the path and along the journey that's going to suck, you do it anyway because you know it's going to help you get closer to your goals. And those are those things you take pride in, because you know what? This fucking sucks, but I'm taking pride in this shit because I know I'm fucking getting somewhere. I know I'm taking a step closer to where I want to be. I know I'm being a better man. You know, I know I'm being a better husband, a wife, you know, for whatever your case is, a son, a brother, a friend. Sure. Like, you take pride in doing the shit, easy or hard, that is getting you closer to where you want to be and becoming a better man. Right. And that, and what you were saying about doing all these things, like, that kind of suck, but you feel good about, and that allow you to get closer. And how I was just saying, like, every time you do those things, you get closer to where you want to be. It goes hand in hand with the idea I've heard people talk about before. It's that God will sell you anything at the cost of labor. Right. So all of these things, these high ticket items that you think are unachievable, or, you know, maybe you think, hey, I want the Lamborghini. Lamborghini is very expensive. Yeah, how am I ever going to need a Lamborghini? Like I said, you know, God will sell you anything at the cost of labor. Right. So it's like, if you fucking work hard enough and you put in enough work, you can really get anything. Yeah. Right. And that's something that myself, I have to remind myself of that a lot. It's like, sometimes you're in that position where you're like, man, I'm not fucking where I want to be. I'm not able to get these things that I want. And you just have to kind of come back and be aware of where you're at, why you're doing things, what you're doing to get to where you want to be. And think about, what am I doing to get there? What work am I putting in right now that's gonna, you know, build up the fucking value that I have to go get these big things, right? The more work I put in, the more labor, it's almost like adding money to the fucking bank that's gonna allow me to go get these things that I want in life. If they're putting a ticket on it, it's almost like the more work you put in, the higher priced items in life that you'll be able to purchase.
For sure. And these are like things that I'm still struggling with, like, every day. It's like, I'm not waking up and just making my bed every morning. Like, some days I'm taking L's. Like, I'm saying this stuff out loud so I can listen back and be reminded on the days where I might need to be reminded of these things, because not every day you're going to be wanting to put in the labor to go get that Lamborghini. Not every day you're going to want to be pushing, like, pushing weight. You're not going to want to be running. Your legs might be hurting. Like, there's a lot of reasons of why you wouldn't want to do something that would better yourself in the moment. Still, for me, it's my laundry, dude. Fuck that laundry. Like, it is really piled up right now. But, like, after this, I bet I'm going to go put all my laundry away, because I'm reminding myself of these things, of these little W's that I need to take on a daily basis. And that brings me to a point that my friend Zach texted me about consistency and how important it is to be consistent inside and outside of the gym, not just with running, not just with pushing weights or doing all the fun stuff that looks cool, or like just, it's so important to have a consistent schedule. Like, I should get on a consistent schedule, put my laundry away. Like, that should be my first step after this, because that's my biggest problem, is laundry. Literally, like, it's such a small thing, but it's the one thing that I just never want to do. And, like, it's so important to, like, I found it easier to be consistent when I write things out of what I'm going to do. I have plans already set. So tomorrow, what day is it? It's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. It's going to be back. Like, I already know I'm working back at the gym. I already know I'm working tomorrow. I already know I'm going to do this tomorrow. So, like, to have these schedules and to plan out your weeks seems like something is just like, why would I plan it? I'm just going day by day. I don't know if I'm going to have a shift this day. I don't know if I'm going to, like, this or that. Like, I don't know if something could go wrong. Like, you could have a million reasons of why you shouldn't plan something on a certain day. But having those plans will help you just wake up and be like, this is what I got to do. It's Tuesday. I'm hitting back. I'm washing my clothes. I'm putting them away, making my bed off rip. I'm drinking my greens right in the morning. Like, if you have this stuff all written out, it makes your days so much easier. And then the consistency builds, and then you get proud of yourself for being consistent and doing the things you don't want to do. And consistency is just top tier. Like, that's something I work on, because some days I'll do some stuff, the next day I won't. But when I do it consistent, the level of pride you get and like your confidence just shoots through the roof.
Yeah. Consistency for sure is probably the biggest thing for anyone that you can do that's going to make an actual difference. Because if we're taking the gym, for example, the more you go to the gym and the more you eat right and the more you train specifically to achieve the goal that you have involving the gym, the faster you're going to get there. And the better rate of success you're going to have doing that thing. And that goes for anything, right? It's like the more you do your laundry on time, the more you fucking put your clothes away when they're ready to be put away, the more success you're going to have at doing that thing, right? So it's like, if I want to fucking build a business, or if I want to do a podcast, the more podcasts I do, the better podcast host I'm going to be, the better podcast quality of the podcast we're going to have, the better content we're going to push out. It goes for anything. You know, the more you do it, the more it's the same thing for like every action you put in, there's an equal output, right? So it's like the more you put in, the more you get out. It's like, I used to hear, there's a clip of Kobe that used to talk about how much work he puts in and why he wakes up so early to work out so much, and why he works out 3 times a day compared to one scheduled workout. It's because he breaks it down, and he's like, you know, if I work out, let's say I wake up at 10 a.m., I go to the gym at 12. I work out from, 12 to 2 hours of workout. And then, I do that every day for the rest of the year. Then, okay, I'll work out. In a week, I can get, if I work out 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, I can get 14 hours of working, right? But let me break this down and structure my time and build myself a schedule. Let's say I wake up at 6 a.m. and let's say I get a workout in from 7 to 9. And then let's say I go home, I eat a little bit, I rest. And then let's say I go to that scheduled 12 to 2 workout, right? Let's say I go home, get everything else done. And let's say I go for a late night workout at 8 to 9, right? You have 5 hours of work put in that day. And over the course of the week, you got 35 hours of work compared to 14? So
yeah,
when you look at things from that standpoint, and even being consistent with just, let's say you worked out an hour a day for the week, like if you did it 3 times a week compared to 5, over the course of the year, you're going to get a whole lot more work done, and in turn get a lot more results. Right. So the aspect of consistency is definitely like one of the biggest things that, we should all prioritize and keep applying to our schedules. And I agree. I highly encourage everyone to kind of build a schedule and structure their days and structure, their high priority stuff to where it's, non-negotiables. I have to get this done. And then, secondly, so for example, like take the things that are non-negotiable. I have to get these done. Those would be things like work, doing laundry, going to the grocery store, things that you have to do to, keep living, right? To keep the cycle alive, continuing. And then there's things that you should do. Hey, if I want to be healthy, I should go to the gym. If I want a healthy relationship with, let's say, my girlfriend, I should be hanging out with her. things like that, right? So you schedule those second, you put those in and you schedule time for that. And then on the third tier, you'll have things that you want to do. Hey, I want to go play some golf. Sometimes it makes me feel good. I want to do that. Hey, I want to go to the gym, or hey, I want to do my podcast. It's fun. I want to do that. And you start breaking those down. You start scheduling everything in like these little time slots that you put for those, and you build out your week, and you're like, hey, I can get a lot of shit done this week. Actually, I got all these things and I can do these. And then you fit in your priorities correctly and you start making shit happen, and it helps out a lot. I mean, you and I have been doing that for probably close to this whole year, since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And for me, it's been a big help. I've always been big on trying to schedule my day, just because it allows you, like you said, to break down your day, to utilize your time, to be efficient with your day, make use of the hours and get shit done. I mean, I even plan time to fucking do nothing, to play games, like to do things that I want to do that allow me to get the, relaxation, or like the time spent doing the things that there's no reason or rhyme to it. It just makes me feel good. I schedule time for that because it helps me stay sustainable. It helps me be on a sustainable schedule because I don't feel like I'm doing shit every day, all day that sucks, right? I do some things that suck. I do a majority of things that may suck in the moment, but I make it work because, you're responsible enough to schedule these things out, to make sure you can get the shit done that you have to do, that you should do, and that you want to do, so that you can continue to be consistent with your schedule and get all of these things growing somehow.
As for the schedule, like you said, we've been doing it like all year, but it's still something I struggle with. Like, I struggle with all these things we touch on to this day. It's not like I'm some guru or like Goggins that's just like doing it like nonstop. I still struggle with these things. So like this week, I didn't plan this week out. When I did plan my weeks out like a couple weeks ago, I was way more consistent. I would wake up and I would know at like 3:00 it's laundry time. I'm putting laundry away at 3:00, so I know ahead of time I'm doing that at 3. But if you just go into your day kind of like winging it, you kind of tend to do like I'll do it in an hour type of thing. Like, I'll do it 30 more minutes on Fortnite, 30 more minutes, or like 30 more minutes for TV or whatever you're doing. And that 30 minutes ends up being another 30 minutes. Next thing you know, it's time to go to bed because you have work tomorrow. And then you end up getting nothing really done. And that's kind of like what I was doing last week. So I'm definitely going to start hopping on my schedule planning again. And there's also something my brother texted me I want to bring up. He was saying like how it's crazy to me too, how like you can kind of take certain like times and things for granted, but when you look back on certain times in your life, you'll be like, oh, 2018 was so lit. Like, I loved 2018 summer. But during 2018 summer, you're like not thinking like, oh, this is so lit. Like, this is the best summer ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of like make times. How do I say this? You make times, like looking back on times in your life are always better than living the time in the moment. Cause like I can already tell for a fact, like looking back on 2023 when it's 2025, I'm going to be like, dude, I was on my shit that year. It was a great year. I enjoyed the whole thing. But throughout 2023 right now, I can tell you for a fact, I'm not enjoying every second of this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how you can just take it for granted in the moment to not realize that you're in this, like, this is the times of your life that you're going to be remembering for a long time.
Yeah. That's something that I struggle with a lot, is the idea of being present and like in the moment and really taking in every day for what it is, and not thinking about tomorrow and not thinking about this or that. Like, that's something that probably for most people it's very difficult to do, because a lot of us have these goals or these things that stress us out. We got bills to pay, we got to feed ourselves, we got to do this or that. Like, we have a lot of things to do, and it's easy to think about the shit that we have to do tomorrow, or that have to do in an hour, the things that, it's like the living in the future thing, right? It's like, it's very hard to just zero out, not think about shit except what's right in front of you, and be present. And it's hard because a lot of us will be stressed out about things, or have aspirations and goals to do this or be there. And when you're not, and when you're in the moment, you don't realize what's so great about right here and right now.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like it's not something that I'm good at, and it's something that I'm working on. And in order to do that, it's just a sense of having gratitude, being grateful for where I'm at, being grateful for what's right in front of me, what I'm doing right now, acknowledging the reality that life is no guarantee. Tomorrow may not be, like, there's a lot of shit that we worry about that could never fucking happen, and ultimately does not matter, because in the end of the day, all of us fucking go to sleep and never wake up, and none of this shit really means anything. So that's something I've been trying to practice, and really be present. And I see Chris Bumstead talk about that a lot, and like staying present in the moment. And he talks about like his bodybuilding journey, and when shit gets tough, when he's in prep and he's trying to prep for competition and diet down, and shit gets really tough, he's starting to think about, am I going to look good on stage? Am I going to be able to fucking look how I want to look? Am I going to feel good? Am I going to make it? Or am I going to fucking crumble? And he talks about the importance where he had a breakdown, and it was a time of difficulty for him, because he went through a time in his prep where he didn't think he was going to be able to do it, and he was diagnosed with some sort of disease. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was going to make it even harder to compete. And a lot of this stuff that he worried about for the future just started kind of caving in. But what he found, with the help of his wife and with the help of his trainers and his team, and just with the help of his acknowledgement of what was going on right there, is that he was in a beautiful state of mind, in a beautiful position to be feeling that. Like, his big thing is pressure. Pressure is a privilege, because he used to look at pressure as like, fuck, dude, I got all this pressure. There's so much shit that could go wrong with this, or that I'm not, I don't know if it's going to go right. And you're thinking about the future so much that you lose sight of the present. And then you look back and you're like, man, I didn't even enjoy that process. I didn't even enjoy the process of getting through whatever it was. I just stressed about this, and like, I wish I could go back and really enjoy it. I wish I could go back and just have a great time.
Yeah.
I feel that. I mean, you probably have instances where you feel that.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, one of the big things that we probably share is like, you look sometimes, like, in the moment of doing things, like, let's say, for example, I have an example of like a lot of examples, but around the same thing is like racing motocross. Like, in the moment, for the majority of when I raced, I was so caught up in thinking, how am I going to do? Look at the competition. Am I going to, do well? What's going to happen if I don't do well? Like, there's so many things you're thinking about the what ifs, or like the future. You're thinking about the future possible outcomes of whatever you're doing in the moment, that you just don't enjoy what you're actually doing. You don't enjoy like, I'm getting to do this thing, for that example, it's like, I'm getting to race motorcycles right now, do what I love. It's fucking sunny out, it's raining out, whatever. Like, I'm outside feels good. I fucking worked my ass off to be here. I'm so privileged to be here. I'm in a very grateful position to even be here. Like, none of this shit's guaranteed. Why don't I just have a good time? Why don't I just go have fun? That's something that, like, for a lot of things, it's really difficult to bring yourself back to that position and just take a deep breath and understand, hey, I'm here. This is what it is. I'm feeling these emotions because of this. And I'm just going to embrace it for what it is, and I'm going to enjoy it. You know, even if it sucks, I'm going to enjoy doing it.
Yeah. I relate to that too with the dirt bike thing, cuz like I've never traveled anywhere that wasn't for motocross, really. And driving to Tennessee, like that's a long drive. I mean, the drive there is not really what I'm talking about, but like when I got to Loretta Lynn's, I was stressed out the whole time. There's a lot of pressure, and I was young at the time. I was 12 when I was there, so like I'm not obviously like some philosophical genius that's like, oh, I gotta take this moment for like what it is. But in that moment, I've always wished I did enjoy it a little more, because throughout that whole experience, I was so like, oh my God, like this is Loretta's, like everyone's here, like the goats have been here. There's so many sponsors here watching, like my mom's on my ass and shit because my dad didn't go. But like, like it's weird for me too, because I have like bad memory. Like I don't know if I'd say I do have bad memory, actually. I'm straight capping. Like I barely remember. I barely remember writing. I mean, I obviously remember like writing a little bit, but like it's crazy how much I don't remember from writing. And I wish like I had more times where I would have just enjoyed a trans world race. Like just something as small as that. Just like a small race that means literally nothing, but I'm stressed out, like on the line, or like it's just so many things. Because writing, like looking back on it now, was such a blessing to be able to do that for 10 years of my childhood, and then like hitting a freestyle ramp at Milestone. Like that is sick. But like it was just a moment that came and went for me, because there was a race that next weekend, and I was just on to the next thing, and I didn't even like enjoy that moment. But that, like, there's just certain things I wish I could have enjoyed more in the moment, because looking back on them is just like, that was the best shit ever. It's like being an idiot kid.
That's a great example of like the scary versus dangerous. It's like, it's scary to relax, it's scary to let it all go, and scary to like just fucking go out there and have fun, because you're like, what if
Yeah.
like you're so scared of like just letting go. And then you put yourself in a dangerous position of looking back and be like, fuck, man, like I really wish I would have been present. Because the more present you are, like you said, you have more memories that you can think of that were shitty than were good. And that might be the case for a lot of people that race dirt bikes.
For sure.
Probably. But it's like with anything, the more present you are, the more you feel, the more you embrace, the more you can see happening right in front of you that you can create memories from. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're hanging out with some friends and you're present and you're in the moment, and you guys are, let's say, fucking fishing or something, and you're just in the moment having fun, you know, in a few years or down the line when you're old, you look back, hey, remember that time we were fishing and, you know, we caught this one fish and you fucking did this or that. Like, you're in the moment and you really grasp it all. Right. And it makes you feel great. And it's a memory that is created that you look back on and that you cherish. Whereas if you're not, and if you're not present, you're looking back with an opposite mindset of like, damn, remember when I could have had a great fucking time, but I didn't, because I was stressed about this stupid shit that didn't even matter. And like, I wasted all this time. And like, that's something that it doesn't feel good. It doesn't sit with you right. And it's just a good example to remind you that, hey, none of this shit's guaranteed. None of this shit really matters. Like, just be fucking present as much as you can try to be, and enjoy everything, and cherish those memories, cherish those shitty times, cherish the times that you're on the treadmill 8 miles in, fucking hating life. Just embrace it, because that's a memory. That's something that makes you stronger. That's something that is a privilege to be doing. It's a privilege to be fucking on a treadmill running when there's a lot more shit that could be going on in your life that would suck a whole lot worse, you know? And that's something you look back on and say, hey, remember that time when I ran 10 miles when my fucking knees hurt and my fucking shoes were all fucked up, but I still did it anyway? That felt good.
It's like, it goes back to like gratitude, like you said, like it's like to be grateful for just like literally everything that's happening in your life. Because right now it may be like my car just blew up, but I like it straight up blew up in the gym parking lot, and I'm sitting there in the car like, fuck, I gotta get a new whip. How am I gonna get a new whip? Like that's a lot of money, like this and that, and then car insurance, like just anything, bro. Like I'm just stressed out. But literally like a week later, which is right now, I'm just sitting here like, okay, like I kind of figured out how I'm gonna get a new car. It's fine. And it's gonna be sick because I've always had this old ass whip that's sketchy, and I didn't like driving it far because I thought the shit was gonna fall apart on the freeway, and I'm like fucking endo mid freeway. But now I'm like, it was the point of that was to just like be grateful, because I was not grateful for my car blowing up in the gym parking lot. But looking back on it, even a week later, I'm starting to be like, I'm kind of grateful for that, because now it's pushing me into this next chapter where I'm going to get, because that was a hand-me-down car from, it literally was my grandma's car, my mom's car, my sister's car, my brother's car, then back to my sister, and then to me. So that thing has been passed around. So like that thing was clapped out when I got it. And then for so long, I just had this sketchy ass car, and like the roof inside was like falling down. Like it was just a fucking wasted car, but it was like my whip. So it was like all I had. And now it's like, I'm going to get my own whip, my first whip. Oh shit. And it's like, it's just things, little things you could be grateful for that might not necessarily be something that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say my car blowing up's a good thing, but I'm grateful.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I'll get a Lambo.
Yeah, at the end of the day, whether you're killing it or you're failing every fucking day, you really just have to lay in bed and remember that, like, what you're grateful for. Remember what you do have. Remember what is going right. Remember that you can sit there in fucking peace and think about what's going wrong or what's going right. You know, there's a lot of people out there that don't even get the chance to think about it. You know, it's like every night, even if you had a win or a loss, you can sit there and say, hey, whatever your religion or spiritual beliefs are or whatever, just thinking to yourself and kind of being grateful and having gratitude for what, you know, hey, I've got a roof over my head. I got a bed to sleep in, food on the table, water to drink. I got friends. I got family. You know, I've got, for you and I, it's like I've got a loving girlfriend that supports me. I've got family. You know, I've got a gym to work out in. I've got shoes to wear. There's a lot of things that you can just be grateful for, give thanks, and have gratitude. And that in itself allows you to come closer to being present, because you're realizing what is right in front of you. You're realizing, hey, this is what's really going on. No matter if I won, no matter if I lost, no matter if my fucking car blew up, you know, I was wearing a fucking shirt. I had a shirt to wear. You know, there's a lot of shit just to kind of bring yourself back and be thankful for and just appreciate things. And that kind of turns into a positive reaction of just like realizing what you need, what you don't need, what you want, what you don't want, And kind of just remembering that no matter what, I've got these things here, and this is all I need.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Making like the gratitude or like grateful things before bed, like just thinking, like literally, I remember sitting in bed after my car fucking shitted on me. I was like, I called my dad, which some people don't even have a dad. And then my mom, some people don't even have a mom, came pick me up in her car and then brought me home. And then I drove her car for the next week while they were on vacation. And I never really thought about how grateful I was for my mom to have a car until I was in my mom's car that she's let me drive for a week because I don't have mine yet. And it's like, just there's so many things, even if everything is terrible right now, let's say you just got dumped or like just it's looking down bad, like you're horrendous, like there's always at least 5 things to say, like grateful I'm alive, I'm grateful I had water to drink today, I'm grateful I ate. That's literally 3 things right there. Start there, build some more shit. I hope everyone who listens to this says tonight before they go to bed 5 things that they're grateful for, because it really does open your eyes to things that you would just normally take a sip of water and just set it right there and not even think twice about it. But on that note, do you have any other topics you want to hit?
No, I think we've had a pretty solid go at this one.
Oh yeah.
I think maybe it's time to transition into our our 5 songs to add to your gym playlist this week.
Yes.
So last week I kicked it off. So this week, you want to kick it off?
Yes, sir. I'm kind of nervous about these picks. Or one of them is an obvious banger, but the second one is something I found on my own, so I don't have any validation that it's a banger yet. But it's a fucking banger, trust. So this first one, this first pick, or I should say before this, for the 5th song, because me and William are both doing 2 songs each today, so that's 4. But for the 5th song, make sure to comment down below whether you're on Spotify, YouTube. If you have my number, text me the song. If you're TikTok. On my Instagram, TikTok, literally anything. Comment in the comment section below a song that you guys want to see added to the DnW Talk workout playlist. And the beginning of the next week's episode, we will let you guys know who won based off how many likes the comment gets, or if I fuck with a song heavy. Like, if it's a good song, I'm probably going to add that over one that has 1 more like on it. But with that said, my first pick is What I've Done by Linkin Park.
That's a great ending right there. I don't know what that thing was, dude.
What? It's just it just throws me off in the video. Like I don't know where the inspiration for that type of music video came from, but I fuck with it.
I like it. I like that addition. I think it's going to be a good add to the gym playlist. That's something I listen to on the daily anyway. So
yeah, that's one of the ones. There's like certain songs in my playlist that I just never skip, or if I'm skipping through all the songs in my playlist and there's like 4 that just come on, I'm like, oh, gotta go back for that one. And the next one is Can You Feel My Heart by Bring Me the Horizon. Can you feel kind of high energy. Yeah, very high energy.
I think whenever you're in the gym and you're about to hit a PR, just start playing some shit like that.
It's one of the songs, because sometimes I don't have the energy in the gym to push through the last workout or sets or whatever. Sometimes some songs with some high energy hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is a pass. I'm lobbing it up for your next two picks.
All right, let's see. So number 3 this week being added to the playlist. First pick for me is going to be Rise Against by Rise Against, Prayer of the Refugee.
Don't hold me now, I can stand my own ground. I don't need your help now.
That one
another
hits.
Good like classic rock to
keep
it going.
Getting that high energy in the gym. That's what we need. That's what I need at least.
And
that was a banger pick.
Second pick for me this week is probably one that we've all heard at some point. Second pick for me is going to be Evanescence. Hope I'm saying that right. Bring Me to Life.
God, that one hits so hard, dude.
Gotta throw in like the little emo rock.
Oh, bro, that hits, bro. Honestly, like, I don't even really listen to the words while I'm in the gym. So, like, I'll sometimes tap into some songs I have in my playlist and be like, what type of emo? Like, what is going on here? But that is another one that I just always have on rotation in my playlist because it just hits when that chorus kind of wake me up. That shit it's so hard. That is a banger pick.
Yep. But with that, that's going to be the 5 songs added to your gym playlist this week. The 5th song, like Dustin mentioned, will be added next week at the top of the podcast. We're going to announce what 5th song we're going to add to that podcast. Those are our 4. Let us know what you guys think of those 4. The descriptions to the podcast playlist will be down below. Make sure to check it out and add it so you can have a better workout next time.
And with that, it's the end of the pod. That is a banger second episode. Honestly, like I had a list of things I had wanted to talk about going into here. The first thing was cardio. And by the time we stopped talking, like that first topic just led into so many other topics. It was like 45 minutes in and I was like, all right, time for the second one. Like, and then cause it's just crazy how one topic, it literally on my thing, it says cardio ? Like that's not like, I didn't really have like a goal to go with, but it's just, I fuck with how conversations just grow from one little mention of something.
Yep. So everyone listening, thanks for watching. If you did, drop a like, subscribe. Just let us know what you think. We're going to try to pop one of these out probably every Tuesday if we can. So let us know down below what you would like to hear us talk about next. If there's anything that you want to hear from us. And with that, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later.